everyone. My name is Zhang Lilin. My metric number is P131786. It's my honor to present my independent study, The Impact of Total Physical Response Approach in Vocabulary Acquisition and Motivation Among Rural Chinese Students. For this presentation, it contains 5 parts. Part 1, Introduction. The study introduces English as a global language and highlights its importance in China's education system, especially in rural areas where students face challenges in vocabulary acquisition. Traditional teaching methods such as the rote memorization have proven ineffective for long-term vocabulary retention. The total physical response approach, which integrates physical movement with language learning, is proposed as the solution to enhance vocabulary retention and students' motivation in rural Chinese primary schools. So here is the research questions. Number 1, what is the effectiveness of an English TPR module in improving students' motivation in some rural Chinese elementary school? How effective is the English TPR module in improving the vocabulary level of some rural Chinese elementary school students? So the second part is the literature review. The literature review covers the key components of TPR method, which was introduced by James Arthur in the 1960s. TPR emphasizes combining language learning with physical actions to simulate the natural process of English acquisition. Studies cited in the review demonstrate the effectiveness of TPR in enhancing vocabulary acquisition, especially among children in resources-limited settings. Additionally, the review discussion learning motivation, highlighting that intrinsic motivation can be enhanced through interactive and engaging learning environments like those fostered by TPR. So here are the theories about the literary review. The total physical response teaching method. TPR combines physical movement with the language teaching, the mimicking the natural process of how children learn their mother tongue. It enhances language memory and comprehension through physical actions, and is particularly effective for beginners and children. The fostering long-term vocabulary retention in low-stress environment. Vocabulary acquisition theory. Vocabulary acquisition is central to language learning and involves mastering form, meaning, and the usage of words. Traditional remote memorization often fails to ensure long-term retention, while TPR enhances vocabulary memories and particular application by engaging multiple senses, such as the auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. Learning motivation theory. Learning motivations is divided into intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. TPR boosts intrinsic motivation by providing interactive and enjoyable classroom activities, especially in resource-limited rural areas, helping to increase students' interest and engagement in English learning. Next one is the secondary language acquisition theory. Collections comprehensible input hypothesis emphasizes that language acquisition occurs when learners receive input they can understand. TPR provides physical actions that align with the language input, helping students comprehend without pressure to produce language. The Fletcher hypothesis further states that a low anxiety environment facilitated more effective learning acquisition. Left-right brain division theory. The left brain handles language and logical thinking, while the right brain memorizes spatial perception and emotion expression. TPR activates both uh, the hemisphere by linking physical movements to language, allowing students to deepen their understanding and memories of the language, enhancing learning outcomes. The multiple intelligence theory. Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence theory posits that individual possesses different form intelligence, such as linguistic, body-like, the kinesthetic, the theatic, and the spatial intelligence. TPR combines physical activities and visual demonstration, engaging multiple intelligence, making it inclusive teaching method for diverse learners. Those theories correctly support the effective of TPR, particularly in sources-limited setting, help improve students' vocabulary acquisition and learning motivation. So the pathways, the methodology. The study used in the quasi-experimental design with two fourth grade classes from a rural Chinese school selected for participation. One class was the experimental group, and which received TPR-based instruction, and the other was the control group using traditional method. Data collection involved pre-test, post-test, and a questionnaire focused on vocabulary mastery and motivation. The quantitative statistical analysis approach was used to assess to the effective TPR. Now here is the table about the data collection. Now before the environmental intention and during the experiment and after the experimental intention. And we can collect the data from the experiment group and the control group. So now there are four main findings from this study. The first one is the total physical response teaching method can stimulate students' interest in learning new words and learning English. Now we can see the data from the table. So in the terms of learning motivation, the experimental group also showed the considerable improvement compared to the control group. Pre-test the questionnaire data relieved that only 26.68 of students in the environmental group expressed an interest in learning English. However, after 1 month of TPR instruction, this percentage surged to 55.56%. Meanwhile, the control group showed almost no change, with the motivation level remain relatively stable at 31.11 percentage post-test. These figures indicate that interactive and engaging nature of TPR effective stimulated students' interest and enjoyment in vocabulary learning. And the second is the total physical response teaching method change students' attitude towards vocabulary learning. So according to the two tables, and before the environment, only 24.44% of students in the environmental group used the technique to memorize new words, compared to 28.89% in the control group. After the TPR intervention, 53.33 of the environmental group mastered those technique, while only 33.34 of the control group did. Similarly, the environmental group showed improved ability to memorize words in various ways, while the control group remained unchanged. Active participation in class also increased from 22.22 to 55.78 in the experiment group compared to similar rates from the 22.22 67 to 33 and 33 percentage in the control group. This results show that TPR significantly enhances students' enthusiasm and attitude towards vocabulary learning. And the third one is the total physical response method foster good vocabulary learning habitats in students. The questionnaire further demonstrated that students in environment group developed a better classroom engagement. Before the intervention, only 22.22% of the TPR group students actively participated in classroom activities and respond to teachers' questions. The figure rose up to 57.78 after TPR module was implemented, while the control group showed only a slight improvement from 22.67% to 33.33%. The last one is the physical response method significantly improves students' vocabulary mastery. And according to the table, comparing the pre-test score and the post-test score between the experimental class and the control class, the study found a notable improvement in vocabulary retention among students taught using TPR method. In the experimental group, the average vocabulary test score increased from 5.56 to 6.33, indicating a statistically significant improvement in vocabulary mastery. In contrast, the control group, which followed the traditional teaching method, showed only a slight increase, with the score improving from 5.58 to 5.64. This difference highlights the effectiveness of TPR approach in enhancing students' ability to remain applying new vocabulary. The statistical analysis confirmed that the difference between the groups was significant, with the p-value less than 0.05, suggesting the positive influence of TPR on vocabulary learning. So at the last is the part 5 conclusion. The study concluded that the TPR approach is highly effective in improving vocabulary acquisition and motivation among rural Chinese students. TPR creates a stress-free, interactive learning environment that is especially useful in resources-limited education settings. Despite the positive result, the study acknowledged limitation, such as the short duration of the experiment and the small sample size, and suggest further research to assess the long-term impact of TPR on language learning. Now that's all. Thank you for your attention.